Alright guys, so I know you really want to click that upgrade now button to get your macOS Catalina, but are you for sure that you're prepared to do this? A lot has changed. Apple has changed the security within the macOS. It's no longer allowing 32-bit apps. They're talking about notarization. They're talking about CodeSigned apps and packages, and what does all this mean? I mean, seriously, are you going to be able to click the button? Well, I'm going to show you how to check out and see whether your apps and these different things are going to work on macOS Catalina, right? So you'll be able to easily tell if you are going to be prepared, all right? So I'm going to run through a lot of different steps, and we're going to get this done, all right? And you're going to be all ready. All right, so the first thing is that we need to make sure that we have a backup, right? Make sure that you have a backup of your device so that you don't lose your data, right? In the event that something catastrophic happens, you want to make sure you have a backup, right? You should have a running backup already, just as a good practice. So make sure you have a backup. And then also, if you don't want to upgrade your device, and maybe you just want to create another partition or a volume on the Mac and load Catalina up on that volume and have it completely separate, you can do that as well, right? And if you want to do that, I got a video that I created called Dual Boot macOS Catalina and Mojave, and that'll walk you through that. Alright, so we need to make sure that our Mac is going to, just to start off on the checklist, right? We have a checklist of items we're going to go through. We're going to run through a bunch of different hardware requirement stuff. We're going to take a look at applications and make sure our applications are covered. And I'm going to show you this awesome website that allows us to see crowdsourced apps and whether they work on macOS Catalina. So it's pretty slick. So whatever websites I show in this video, there will be a link down in the description. So the first thing we're going to do, we need to open up a terminal. Command Option, open up Spotlight, Terminal, and Return. I'm going to hit Command Plus to blow this guy up. And the command that I'm going to use first is the System Profiler command. System Profiler provides you with all of the system information, and we could go through the GUI and open it up that way and try to dig in and look, but when you open up the command line and you start searching for this stuff, it is just way easier, and you just get awesome at it, right? You just want to do it that way. So we're going to type system_profiler, and we want to grab the hardware information from this device. So we need to run an option for this to list all of the data types that are available to this system. I can type in list data types and hit return. And what this is going to do is it's going to show me a whole list of data types, and I can use any one of these, and it's going to provide me information, detailed information about my system and my Mac. So the first one that we want to run is the hardware data type, and we can scroll down. So if I look at this, let me just explain this. So SP System Profiler is going to be on the front of every one of these options. Then on the end, you're going to have data type, and that's going to be on the end of every one of these options. In between that is going to be the description of what you're looking for, right? So if I go down to hardware data type, I want that. I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to hit Command K to clear my screen. Well, actually, yeah. And then I'm going to arrow up. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to paste that SP hardware data type. When I hit return, it's going to pull up the information about my Mac, right? And with this information, I'm going to be able to see if this Mac supports macOS Catalina, right? So I need to open up a web page. This is going to be our first web page, and I'm going to have this link down in the description. So I need to scroll down, and it's a MacBook Pro that I'm working on, right? And I need to click on Learn How to Identify Your MacBook Pro. Click on that because that's what I'm looking for. And we're going to go back to this terminal window, and I'm looking for the 14,1, the MacBook Pro 14,1. And we're going to see if it's in the supported list. Boom. Right there. Awesome. So we now know that this Mac supports macOS Catalina, and we can see all that data. And we know that it's got 8 gigs of RAM. If I go back to this web page, Catalina needs 4 gigs of memory. Alright, that's all it needs, so we're good on that. And the model itself supports it as well, so we're good with the RAM and the actual computer model. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure the hard drive has enough space. So we're going to head back to terminal, and I'm going to hit Command K to clear the screen, and we are going to type in System Profiler, and I want to gather the storage data type. So it's literally, we're leaving data type on the end, we're getting rid of hardware, we're typing storage, and we're hitting return. And we're going to see that all I have is 9.56 gigs of space on this device. And if I go back to what is required on Apple's compatibility system requirements website, it looks like I need at least 12.5 gigs of space for this device. If I had a device that was upgrading from Yosemite or earlier, I'd need 18.5 gigs, but I'm way past Yosemite, and if you're sitting on Yosemite, you are so ready to be hacked. Upgrade, get off it, wipe it. But alright, so let's go back to the terminal. And so I know that I have to clean up my computer before, because I don't even have enough space to upgrade this device, right? So I do have a couple videos that can help out if you have the same problem that I have. I'm going to have a couple links to how to clean up your Mac, space issues and taking care of that stuff. And then there's one that will show large files, and then there's another video that I have that'll show you this hidden storage management tool that Apple kind of hides, that offers some really awesome abilities to clean up your drive. So check those out as well. The next thing that we need to make sure is that the OS, well, it's, I just have to make sure. So we're going to run the command sw_vers, and this is going to tell me my Mac OS, and that is definitely capable of upgrading since it's just Mojave. I'm going to hit Command K, clear the screen. The next thing that we want to talk about is printers, peripherals, Wacom tablets, all of that kind of stuff. You're going to want to make sure that you go and to the vendor's website, see if it's compatible, and if it's not compatible, if they don't have an updated driver, contact the vendor. A lot of times these things will still work, right? And you're going to want to contact that vendor and make sure, just contact the support, see what they've heard, right? It might still work. So, and if you do have a requirement for that, that might be a reason to do a dual boot scenario. Keep that old Mojave system just so you're protected and you still have the capability of running your peripherals like printers or whatever that maybe doesn't support Catalina, right? And then you can hop back and forth. But make sure you check that out. Now we're going to get into the fun part, because really what it comes down to is applications. The applications are the problem child in this scenario, because Apple has increased their security and they no longer allow 32-bit apps, and they're touting from their developer documentation that they're requiring applications to be notarized and as well as code signed. And what that means is that each application, each package, each kernel extension needs to be signed by a developer with an Apple developer cert, right? A current one. And that then developer needs to take the app and the package or whatever they're creating. There's several things they can do in this with this, where they need to notarize that package, right? It's already signed. They need to notarize it. So what that means is you send it up to Apple. Apple does basically a malware check through it. Checks the software, make sure it's not doing anything that could potentially, cause problem on the Mac. It looks legit. And then what they do is they send you back basically the proof, and you take that proof that they've sent back and you staple it to your package, right? And now the package is notarized, so the next time you go to install that package on macOS Catalina, it knows that Apple has gone through it and checked it out for any malware. What's crazy is we notarize our stuff at UnitedHealth Group, and basically when we're doing that, we even have custom software that we write, and some of the software has been flagged as malware, right? Because we do some pretty creative stuff, and sometimes when you try to hide stuff, Apple doesn't like that, right? So we're going to run through this. I'm going to show you a couple commands, and we're going to be able to check out what 32-bit apps we have on this system. We're going to check out a little bit about notarization, and then we're going to check out code signing stuff. So, sorry. All right. Trying to get comfortable a little bit. All right, so 1 second. Try to get my notes. Boom. All right. So the next line that we're going to run is going to be a system profiler command again. So I'm going to arrow up, and I am going to get rid of storage, and I am going to put in applications because I want to look at the applications. If I just leave it at applications, I'm going to get a huge list. So let me just run it, and it might take a second. Okay, so you're going to see this big old list, right, of applications. It's telling us all the apps on the system, and here's the line that you're looking for, right? It's saying, is it 64-bit or not? Well, we're going to tailor up this command a little bit and get the 32-bit app list. So we're going to arrow up, we're going to put a space, then a pipe. We're going to pipe that to grep, and we're going to do, and we're going to do a grep. 1 sec. And it's going to be 64-bit space parentheses Intel, and let me stretch out this window a little bit. All right, so we've got System Profiler. We're grabbing all the applications then we're piping that entire list into the grep command, and we're grepping out 64-bit. And I forgot to almost put the important part. No. So then I'm going to hit return, and this is going to come back. Whoa. Whoops, sorry. Boom. All right. I forgot to grab. All right. Let me redo that. Let me arrow up. So I had to add in I'm basically saying I'm grepping for the 64-bit Intel line, and I'm saying I want the 7 lines that come before this each time. So when I hit return, it's going to show us all the apps that are not 64-bit, right? So then we can run through this and kind of check this stuff out and see, okay, so some of these apps I really want, right? I really want to be able to use this FS Eventer, and I really want to use this package maker. So already I'm seeing a problem. It's not, they're in the 32-bit category, and they're not going to run at all on macOS Catalina. So I immediately either have to see if there's an update from the vendor or contact the vendor. Well, let's see if these applications are even are code signed and notarized, right? So to be able to see if an application is notarized, I'm going to hit Command K, and now we are going to basically use the SPCTL. Well, let's do a man on this, because we got the security assessment system policy security. Sorry, this command we're going to use to assess. We're going to use this line right here. We're going to assess an app or a package, and it's basically just going to return. And if it is notarized, it's going to just be happy and not return anything. If it is not notarized, it's going to get rejected, right? It's going to give us a rejection. So we're going to do spctl -- assess, and we need to go to an application, and I want to go to FS Eventer, and that is the app. So we're going to see if that app, oh, it's not notarized, dang it. So that's 2 strikes on that app. Not good. All right, so this is just, all these apps are going to have to be updated. So let's check out Package Maker. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yep. Rejected. So that's not going to work either, right? All right, so now the last check that you would do on your applications and things in the future, so 32-bit apps will not work on Catalina right now at all. Notarized apps, if an app is and a package is not notarized or is not code signed on Catalina right now, it will work, but you'll just get a bunch of dialogues, right? You'll get a bunch of dialogues that you'll have to click through to approve it and allow it. And Apple has stated that they are not going to allow it in the future. So at some point, your software will have to be notarized and code signed. And it has to be code signed in order to be notarized, if that makes sense as well. So, all right, let's see if this thing, these apps are code signed. All right, so really all we got to do is code sign -d v, and I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to see, oh, Strike 3 on that guy. Code object is not signed at all. Alright, so let's see if package maker is. Yay! Alright. Well, I kind of knew that was going to be, you know, app was signing their stuff. Alright, so that is how you check 32-bit apps, you know, your notarization and your code signing. The last thing that I wanted to share with you is this pretty awesome website that will give you the ability. It's called roaringapps.com, and I'm going to go to roaringapps.com, and it's basically a compiled list from the community of apps that work on different versions of macOS, Windows, iOS. So it's pretty dang slick. So you can just come here and start looking up your apps. And what's really nice is if you just scroll down, it just says, hey, if you want to check your 32-bit apps, but I just gave you a command to check that out. You don't really need to go and search here for that. But this is a good website to go check out. Let's just actually click on this to see what it looks like. And yeah, so one sec here. So this will show you. Let me go back to apps, and I want to, yeah, so I mean, if you look, it'll tell you everything, you know, which versions. A lot of it is missing, so if you do test something out, you can contribute to this too. So if you know of an app that now works on Catalina 10.15, go in here and update it, man, and say that you've tested it and it works out great, so that the community keeps adding more data. Well, that's it, guys. Hopefully you get those steps taken care of, and you're able to upgrade to Catalina without any issues. We at my company, we were able to pull off day one support, which was amazing, you know. And honestly, I don't think that can happen with everybody, but I've upgraded a ton of machines and had a ton of success, but I was very prepared around my applications, right? And I knew how to go about doing it, and the right way, and the things to check, right? So make sure you check those things out. Hey, and if you ain't subscribed, get subscribed, guys, and definitely hit that little alert icon so you get the next videos. I'm gonna end up down the road here, maybe even this next video, I don't know yet, but doing a little bit of a deep dive on notarization, actually showing the process, going through the steps of notarization. But you guys have an awesome day. Take care, and I will chat with you next week. Later.